Good evening. It is now 7:01 PM, and at this time, the reorganization meeting of the Board of School Directors is called to order. At this time, I'd like to take roll. Dr. Aberly. Mrs. Bell.
Here.
Mr. DeFranco.
Here.
Mrs. Hubley.
Here.
Mrs. Hughes. Mr. Jordan. Dr. Taratusky.
Here.
Mr. Needleman.
Here.
Mr. Bedard.
Here.
Okay, the next agenda item is the Pledge of Allegiance. If we can all stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Next agenda item is notice of the organization meeting. Pursuant to section 402 of the Pennsylvania Public School Code of 1949, as amended, you were informed that the reorganization meeting of the School District of Springfield Township Board of School Directors will be held on Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024 at 7:00 PM in the Springfield Township Middle School Audion located at 1901 A East Paper Mill Road, Orland, PA 19075, and also via virtual platform. Directions for the connection to and participation in the meeting is published on the district's publicly accessible website, www.sdst.org. The agenda for the meeting includes the election for the president and vice president of the Board of School Directors. The notice of the reorganization meeting was also advertised in the Intelligencer on Thursday, November 21st, 2024. At this time, I will take comments from the public. I do not see that anybody is signed up to speak. Is there anybody online?
Does not look like there's anybody online.
Okay. At this time, we will go to nominations for temporary president. So at this time, are there nominations for temporary president?
I would like to nominate Dr. Karen Taratusky.
Are there any other nominations for temporary president? At this time, I'd like to ask for a motion to close nominations and also for a second.
So, second,
I'm sorry, who was first?
Sean moved. Mr. Jordan moved and I seconded.
Thank you. Okay, at this time, nominations for temporary president are closed and I need to take roll call. Dr. Aberly.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, don't stop.
Mrs. Bell?
Here.
Yay or nay?
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Mr. DeFranco?
Yay.
Mrs. Hubley?
Yay.
Mrs. Hughes?
Here.
Mr. Jordan?
Yay.
Dr. Taratusky?
Yay.
Mr. Needleman?
Yay.
Mr. Bedard?
I'm always used to the I, but I like the yay, so I'll go yay.
As of this time, nominations are closed and Dr. Taratusky is the only candidate nominated. I move for Dr. Taratusky's election by acclamation for the position of temporary president. All those in favor say aye.
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 At this time, I will hand over the meeting to Dr. Taratusky.
Okay, thank you. At this time, I'm going to call for any nominations for president for this upcoming year. Are there nominations for president for this year?
I nominate Jeffrey Bedard as president.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other nominations for president? Okay, seeing none, I will move that the nominations are closed. And as Jeff Bedard is the only candidate nominated, I will move for Jeff's election by acclamation for the position of president. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Any abstentions? Okay. And congratulations, Mr. Bedard.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your confidence from the board and obviously take the responsibility very seriously. I truly appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay, we'll move on to the next item on the agenda, nominations for vice president for the upcoming year. Are there any nominations for vice president?
I nominate Michael Needleman, please.
That's good because I don't want two positions.
Cool.
Are there any other nominations for vice president in addition to Michael Needleman?
No.
Okay, as there are no other nominations, we'll close the nomination period. And since Michael Needleman is the only candidate nominated, I move for Michael Needleman's election by acclamation for the position of vice president. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? All right, congratulations, Mr. Needham.
Thank you very much. And I echo your comments before. I appreciate the trust my fellow board members have placed in me.
Amazing. Well, that leads us to the next part of this meeting, which is the committee appointments and our vocational technical school operating committee members. The board has gleefully agreed that with this year's election, with no changes in our board seats, we're going to keep consistency across all committee assignments, which can be found on the Springfield Township website as well. So all committee appointments will be maintained for the following year. So congratulations, everyone, and great work on all the committees this year. I think consistency is going to serve us well in 2025. All right, with that, I will open it up to the board for any comments. All right, and Superintendent, Dr. Yannicone, anything you wanted to add?
I'll just echo the congratulations to the entire board and to your election once again of Mr. Needleman and Mr. Bedard in board leadership positions. And thank you to everyone for continuing to serve as volunteers in the community in this important role. We really appreciate working with all of you. Thank you.
Amazing. All right, and any comments from the public? We will open it up for one last opportunity if anyone in the room or online has comments.
Not seeing any hands in the room, and online, also not seeing any hands raised.
Amazing. All right, with that, we will adjourn our reorganization meeting. And my understanding is we can move directly into our regular board meeting. We don't need to change links or anything. All right, so thanks again to everybody. I appreciate the support. If it's not obvious, I'm dealing with a bit of a medical issue right now, which is impacting my ability to talk perfectly. So I'm going to ask Mr. Needleman to preside for the regular board meeting just to make it a little bit easier on me.
Of course, I'm happy to, and Mr. Bedard, best wishes for a speedy recovery.
Thank you so much.
You
Appreciate
look great, but let's hope it feels better soon.
it. Thanks, my friend.
All right. Slide, move everything over one seat so that everyone can see. Thank you. And with that, we'll formally begin our board meeting for Tuesday, December 3rd. Welcome, everyone. As you've heard, Mr. Bedard is able to join us only by Zoom, and we, of course, once again want to wish him a speedy recovery. Why don't we move now to the Pledge of Allegiance for our meeting, and we can, well, I pledge allegiance to the flag, States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. The mission of the School District of Springfield Township is to educate and develop all students as learners and citizens who are high achieving, resilient, and responsible in a changing global community. Ms. Green, roll call, please.
Dr. Aberly, Mrs. Bell.
Here.
Mr. DeFranco.
Here.
Mrs. Hubley.
Here.
Mrs. Hughes.
Here.
Mr. Jordan. Dr. Taratusky.
Here.
Mr. Needleman.
Here.
Mr. Bedard.
Here.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Green. The board at its discretion may videotape all or any portion of a public board meeting, subject to the limitations set forth in policy 6 meetings, aptly titled. Board meetings will be broadcast on the Friday afternoon following each board meeting. And with that, I'll turn things over to Dr. Yannicone for the superintendent report.
Thank you, Mr. Needleman. Good evening. I'm happy to report that conferences were well attended and successful in the week leading up to Thanksgiving, and our winter athletics have begun at both the middle and high schools in the last few weeks. Our high school choir is headed to Montreal and Quebec this weekend as well. Tomorrow, we offer a parent education program virtually called Have You Had the Conversation Yet? It's certain to include valuable information for families, and we invite parents to join us online. For more information, please check out our website or my most recent newsletter. On Friday, our Voices of Excellence group will host a mental health awareness event at the high school, and next Wednesday night, the MPA will host a yoga event at the middle school at 6:30 p.m. Finally, I want to report to the board that we are experiencing some challenges in our transportation office with a shortage of bus drivers this month. Mr. Bray is working diligently to adjust routes as needed to accommodate all riders and families, both public and private. We are hiring new drivers and getting them trained and familiar with our community routes, and we'll do our best to minimize the impact on our students and families. We appreciate your patience and understanding as we work through these challenges. As this is our only meeting in December, I also want to remind the community that Friday, December 20th, will be our last school day this month, which is a full day of school. We hope our families enjoy the holidays at the end of the month, and we look forward to reopening our schools on Thursday, January 2nd, 2025. And finally, for our spotlight tonight, we are celebrating the Wissahickon Valley Relay for Life, which has been hosted at the high school by a stellar group of adults and students. I've invited them tonight to share a little bit about the program and their successes, and I want to first invite Mr. LaRocco up to introduce the program.
Good evening, members of the school board, faculty, students, and community members. It is an honor to stand before you tonight to showcase a remarkable event that highlights the spirit, resilience, and compassion of Springfield Township High School, our Relay for Life. This annual event is not just a fundraiser, but a powerful movement where students, faculty, and community unite to support those affected by cancer, raise awareness, and contribute to life-saving research. I'm incredibly proud to introduce the driving force behind this impactful event, the dedicated advisor and our inspirational student leaders. Their tirelessly effort, creativity, and commitment have brought this event to life, engaging the hearts and hands of our school community. Their leadership exemplifies the values we strive to instill in our students: service, empathy, and the belief that together we can make a difference. Without further ado, I would like to introduce Mrs. Audrey Walsh, whose guidance and compassion have shaped this event into a cornerstone for our community's commitment to service, along with Ella Walsh, Sarah Sharp, and Ann Pham, who have demonstrated extraordinary innovation and teamwork to lead this effort. Please join me in welcoming them as they share with you more about this year's Relay for Life.
Thank you, Mr. LaRocca. First, I wanted to just thank the board and Dr. Yannicone for acknowledging us and recognizing the efforts of my students here. I really appreciate that. I want to thank Dr. Ritt for always supporting us in our endeavors, and especially Mr. LaRocco as our activities supervisor, especially in those more stressful moments. I don't always show that so well. So I really appreciate you. So I have been a teacher here for 12 years, and I have been the Relay for Life advisor for the last 7 years. And I can just tell you that it's brought a lot of joy for me personally, just seeing groups of students who become leaders in the program and then go on to do really big things. So I've had kids that have come through our program and then gone on to like Penn State and helped run Thon. So this is sort of the breeding ground for that. And it's really fulfilling to see that come to fruition. Our main mission is to raise money and awareness for Relay for Life, which is an event that occurs through the American Cancer Society. And over the years, we've been able to make sure that our funding personally goes to not only the American Cancer Society, but particularly pediatric cancer awareness and fundraising. So any funds that we raise go directly to impact pediatric cancer, which in our community, you know, we've experienced, unfortunately, loss in that area. So it's very near and dear to me. And we basically, for the first 5 years of my being an advisor, we would raise money and have events that were student oriented. And we would raise about $2,500 to $3,000 a year for that. But last year, Dr. Yannicone asked that we bring it back to our community at Springfield. It hadn't been here for a while, and we did so. And this year was our first year really running it as a club. And as I said, there were some kinks because I'm like a nervous Nelly, but at the end of the day, I feel like we really pulled it off. And that's mainly because of my students. The club is well attended. We have about 20 to 25 students that are enrolled in the club. We meet bi-monthly and we discuss ways to fundraise. This year, I'm proud to say that the Relay for Life for Wissahickon Valley reached their goal of $32,000. So that was really exciting. That's not just from our club, that's from other teams. But unfortunately, there's been a decrease in the number of teams that have participated. So it was really important that Springfield as a school represent, because I think we were the only student-run team. And so that particular day with the 4-hour event, we made $4,000, and then we just cut another check to Relay for Life for $2,000. So alone on that day in our fundraising efforts, we made $6,000 to contribute to the cause, as well as a lot of online donations that I'm not really sure the total cost. But so it's just been a really great experience for me as an advisor, seeing these kids grow and show their leadership skills. So I'm going to hand it over to Ella, who happens to be my daughter and one of the captains, and she's just going to talk about the effect it's had on her as a leader.
Hi, everyone. I'm the captain, Ella Walsh, and I just wanted to say a few words. So, Relay for Life and the club itself has just been really meaningful and important to me personally. And I just have learned a lot with leadership skills and how to plan, what the intake of the planning is, or how to plan for an event. And I just learned a lot through the process, and it has been very important to me. And I'm just very happy I was able to give back and contribute to this cause and plan for this event. So yeah, thank you.
All right, and Anne and Sarah were other captains. So thanks again for recognizing the hard work of our fearless leaders here. Thanks.
Mrs. Walsh and ladies, I would just wanted to personally thank you all. I know last year it was a big ask of me to bring the Relay for Life to Springfield. It was something that I had experienced in a former district as a real community bonding event and a great opportunity for student leadership development. So it was exciting for me to see not only our 3 leaders here, but the 24 students working throughout the afternoon and evening on the day of the relay to really set the tone for the event. I thought you did a fantastic job of developing activities and fundraising opportunities. And Ella, I'll speak personally to you. It's been fantastic the last few years to walk beside you in the Survivor Walk. So that's been a nice memory that I'll have as you head off to college next year. So I want to thank you all, and Audrey, thank you for stepping up. I know you're a little bit of a nervous Nelly, you say, but you pull through every year.
All right.
So thank you for that. We really appreciate it. And Mr. LaRocco, thank you for taking on the challenge. I know sometimes I have big asks, and I know this was one of them, and you guys rose to the challenge. So thank you very much. And we're really proud of all of you, and $32,000 from a student-led relay, and most relays are adult-led. So that is an amazing accomplishment for our team. So thank you.
Thank you. Oh, one last thing. Jamie Cohen, who is the representative of American Cancer Society, wished that she could be here tonight, but she had a other obligation. So thanks again.
Absolutely. We're grateful to ACS because not only do they do a great job supporting us and helping us throughout the whole program, but they also do a great job because ACS gives the vast majority of the fundraising to causes that help children who are suffering and adults who are suffering with cancer. So it's a great cause, and I think a really terrific community event for us. We'll hope that it continues to get more and more successful every year. Thank you. And with that, I'll conclude my report.
Just want to echo what you said, Dr. Yannicone. It's such a pleasure to see this kind of good news, right? It's awesome. So with that, I understand that we have no EEHSP report tonight. I'll look to our student representative, Ms. Gotti. I understand with the Thanksgiving break and that we don't have an update, but I just want to confirm with you. That's the case? Phenomenal. All right. With that, then we'll turn to comments on agenda items from the public, and I'll turn things over to Mr. Franco.
Okay, looking in the room here, it looks like nobody has signed up for comments on non-agenda items. So turning online, looking for hands raised. Give it a couple seconds or moments. And it does not appear that anyone has any comments on non-agenda items at this time.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Franco. At this time, we'll vote on approval of minutes from our November 19, 2024 meeting. The Board of School Directors approves the board minutes from our November 19, 2024 regular board meeting. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board pertaining to this motion? All right, do I have a motion? And do I hear a second? Thank you. Are there any excuse me, I'm repeating myself. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And any opposed? And any abstentions? All right, hearing none, that will pass. Our next motion has to do with personnel and HR contracts. The Board of School Directors approves the following personnel as presented in the attachment. The file attached: certified personnel, support personnel, temporary personnel, and conference workshop attendance. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board pertaining to this motion? No? All right, do I have a motion? And a second? All right, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 And any opposed? Any abstentions? All right, hearing none, this will pass. Next, we have our confidential settlement and release agreement. The Board of School Directors approves the confidential settlement and release agreement for student 2024-1203-01. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board pertaining to this? All right, do I have a motion? And a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed? And any abstentions? All right. That will pass. Next up is our audit report for the year ended June 30th, 2024. The Board of School Directors accepts the audit report for the year ended June 30, 2024, as presented to the Finance Committee pending final peer review, by Bars, Gowie, Amon, and Foltz, LLC. Are there any comments or questions from members of the board on this? No? All right, do I have a motion? And a second? Second. All right, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
And any opposed? All right, any abstentions? That will pass. And at this time, we'll turn to public comment on non-agenda items, and I'll turn things over to Mr. Franco again.
And I have to apologize. I said non-agenda items previously when I meant agenda. So now it's non-agenda.
Well, I have to clean my ears out because I heard you say
No.
agenda items, so.
You heard what you wanted. I said it wrong. So turning to the room, it looks like nobody signed up in person, so we'll go online and see if anybody has a agenda comment or even an agenda comment at this point.
I think hearing what we want is the most useful skill imaginable, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah. All right. Does not look like we have any comments.
Very good. Thank you. At this time, we'll close the meeting out. I just want to note that our future board meeting dates will be January 7, 2025. Gosh, can you believe it's 2025 already? Feels like just yesterday. Which will be a hybrid meeting, of course. And our regular board meeting will be Tuesday, January 21st, 2025. It's going to take me until March to get 25 right. Whatever I write it, which will also be a hybrid meeting. All meetings, of course, will be held in our Audion in the middle school. And our future committee dates will be a policy committee meeting on Thursday, December 12th, 2024 at 3:30 p.m. That will be a virtual meeting. And we have a property committee meeting on Tuesday, December 17th at 8 a.m., also virtual. And with that, would any members of the board like to say anything? All right, thank you, Dr. Yannicone. Wish to say anything? All right. With that, I will close things out. I'll thank our audience for their rapt attention and wish everyone a good night.